Do you want to know how to save more money? And do you want to know how to build more credit? Now contact Finance Fixtory today, and then you'll notice a real big change. Hello, and welcome back to another video from Finance Fixtory. Today we'll be talking about Final Destination 6 Bloodlines. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who watched the videos from last month's Financial Literacy Month. It is really good that we were able to share all this information and reach out to those who may not have known this information. And I hope it was very useful to you, and I hope you learned a lot. So, today we'll be talking about Final Destination Bloodlines. So, I actually did a review with a friend, Uncle Sam. We'll insert the link to that video later. But yes, went to see Final Destination Bloodlines, which actually came out on May the 14th. So we actually got a chance to see it for a preview for free at Picture House. So the way this happened was last year we got a ticket to Final Destination Marathon, so it was an all-nighter, and this was actually at Picture House. So basically all the films of Final Destination, well, 1 till 5 was actually shown back to back in the cinema all night. This was last July and it was shown in Picture House in Soho. So, yes, it was an all nighter, which meant that there was just a lot of staying in the cinema and trying to keep your eyes open and watching all the films back to back. There were some breaks, however, unfortunately, the Picture House cinema had no air conditioning and it was a heatwave day, so that meant that yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, but they did provide us with a lot of water and coffee breaks between each movie, and so that was nice. However, it was quite unbearable to sit and watch the movies during that time when it was really, really hot. But yes, it was lovely to be able to do such a thing. And because of that, we had a personal message from the director of the movie. He found out on Twitter that we were doing this, and so he recorded a personal message, which I may insert here. And it was saying thank you for attending this event, and we don't think anything like this has been done before. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, it was like one of a kind, and to be honest, I didn't really think that was possible to stay in a cinema for well about 10 hours. So yeah, it was a lot, but it was great fun, and yeah, so I recommend it if you have a favorite franchise, a favorite film that you like to watch, and you just want to see them all at once. Because it's not every day you get to do that. So the ticket price for that, well, that was actually done through Showfilm first. So I only paid £7 for that. So for £5, I only paid £7. So if you want to go to the cinema and have those kind of experiences, we will link below where you can do that, because companies like Showfilm First and the couple of others, which is actually linked in our blog post that we did a while back. Yes, you can find all the different ways to reduce costs and go to the cinema, because going to the cinema is not that cheap anymore, and it can be around 20 quid. So when we went to see Bloodlines a couple of weeks ago, I was looking and the tickets were actually 20 quid, or 17, between £17 and 20 quid. And it was like, oh my gosh. Wow. But yeah, it was a double bill. But even for a single movie, it can be that expensive. So it's good to know that there are ways to reduce the costs when going out to cinema. Because yes, you can watch things on Netflix. Yes, you can watch things at home. But that's not really the experience unless you can mold your home to have that kind of cinema effect. Yes, we can do that. However, it is nice to go out every now and then to experience films at the cinema. So, yes, when we went to see Bloodlines, it was on Friday night. So it was actually a world exclusive. So they showed the first film that was released in 2000, and then they showed Bloodlines like after, and they had intermission, which I've never seen before. And yes, doing an all-nighter, they didn't really have the intermission on the screen, and that's what I wanted to see. So I thought that was really good. To add, the way we got this ticket was basically through attending the all-nighter, and then when we attended it, as we left, they gave us some free tickets. And so at the time I was thinking, okay, I don't really go to the cinema that much, but I'll save it for something. And I did hear that the Final Destination was coming out soon, but it wasn't something that was on my mind at that time. However, I did save the ticket in my Oyster card holder for this, so I was able to go and see these two films for free. So yes, it pays to go to these type of events. Not only was the original event discounted, and then it led on to getting an actual free ticket, a world exclusive free ticket. So that was really cool. Yeah, so it was shown about a week early, and this was so the double bill was shown at the Finsbury Park Picture House in London, UK. And so, watching the first film, first Final Destination, one film is very dark, it's very eerie, there's a lot of dark themes, it's quite creepy, because I remember the first time I watched it, which was after watching all the others, I was like, yeah, this is a creepy film. This is a very creepy film, and it's very serious as well. Whereas as time goes on, the rest of the films are not so serious and they're more jokey, although they did have jokey elements, but the Final Destination 1 is more serious. We will cover more of the themes in our review with Uncle Sam, which I will link below and attach to this video. So, yes, to summarize, the film was very 2000s and 20s, very different to what we're used to. However, it did follow the theme. I will say that for the most part, the film was shot in Canada. So it was very well. They showed was it the CN Tower? They showed the CN Tower. So luckily, I had been to Canada a year before, exactly a year exactly, and if I'd have seen that film, I probably would have been like, I'm not sure if I want to go and walk up the CN, well, not walk up, go up the CN Tower. And that was like one of the first scenes of the film, the CN Tower. I was like, oh gosh, what are they going to do here? So it's interesting because it's like a well-known landmark. It's for tourists, and I don't know if that's going to have an effect on people wanting to see the CN Tower, knowing that there's a possibility something could happen, but it's not likely. Not that I know of personally, but yeah, it was a bit like, oh, if I'd have like booked to see that this year, I don't know if I would have gone up it. Um, yes, it's a bit creepy. So a lot of things happen. I don't want to spoil it, but I'll save it for the review. It had other themes in there, crazy deaths. They had a double death as well with the brothers, and I did find that a bit unrealistic. They had, and that was to do with the MRI scanner, which as a kid I was very fearful of. I remember I think they came out in the late 2000s, and there was a whole hype about them, as many things do have hype when they come out and they haven't been done before. Yeah, there was a big hype about the MRI scanners, and just looking at them, you're like, oh, what if I get trapped? And yeah, they had an element of leaving the metal, not the metal, sorry, the waves. I don't know what you call it, but they were turned on real high, so all the metal kind of got stuck into the MRI scanner, and anyone who had metal on them, yeah. So so hopefully no one has an MRI scan anytime soon. Yes, also wanted to say that they made lots and lots of references to the first and second film, and not so many references to the other films, but it's mainly the first and second film, the deaths that happen there. And so did see the same kind of themes repeated throughout. So it was quite noticeable. especially at the end, when they all die, and from the death that was basically a reincarnation of the death that happened in the second film. So yeah, I didn't think that was original. And then we had Tony Todd. So if you don't know, Tony Todd was an actor for films such as The Candyman. He also featured in Tales from the Hood. I think it was number 3 or no. Yes, he's like a pioneer for horror movies. And yes, and sadly he passed away last year. And he filmed the last film for Final Destination, and it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just filming a film. He had a message, and he's definitely speaking to the fans, and it made me quite teary eyed because he looked so frail, and I was like, oh gosh. And then in the film, he was saying he was retiring, so there was a lot of like, yeah, a nod to what was about to happen because he knew. And yeah, that part was very sad. And he's a very funny character in the movie, and you actually have a backstory to how he comes about, what his character is in the film. So it's good. And yeah, that was sad knowing that he's not gonna be around anymore. And he especially in the first movie, he says something really funny, and like again, everyone laughed in the theater. But yeah, it's a funny character. You all know someone who's like that. So yes, he will be missed. He will be missed. So watching that film, wasn't too sure if it was going to be the last ever Final Destination film, because we thought the film in 2011 was the last one, or did we think the one in 2009 was? We think that these films are the last ever, but then they come back and they release more. So it was unsure as to whether that was the last film. We will not know until, a few months' time, maybe. They may say, oh, we're releasing Final Destination 7, or, some more films, maybe, because, the films actually stem from a book. So, yes, I recommend reading those too. So yes, thank you for watching. I think we've covered everything. However, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, so please, if you see any events that will help you get out of the house, there are a lot of free events that you can do, lots of reasonably priced events. I know we had Mental Health Week in the UK last week, so if you have any doubts that you want to share, have a diary, express your thoughts. You always have someone to talk to. If you need any help, please feel free to email us at financefixtory@gmail.com, and we can assist in any way that we can. But please be aware of your mental state and help yourself get out. And if you're feeling like you're getting in a rut, then that is the cue to go outside, get some fresh air, do some exercise, just be out in the nature, which can uplift you quite a lot. So thank you for watching, and take care until the next video, and see you soon.